Well, we've pretty much rebuilt the team. I say we've rebuilt the team. A lot of it is still actually the same team as last season. But we have added a lot of new faces. We've hopefully got some more on the way. Let's get Season 2 underway, shall we? How we doing, everyone? And welcome to part 7 of this My Career series here on Football Manager 2023 with our first club, Dartford. I'm Stu. Thank you for joining me in today's video, where we're going to be opening the season with 2 games, because we always do. I don't know why I felt the need to specify that. One against Scunthorpe and one against, I think it was Bath. I've actually forgotten who the second game's against. I'm pretty sure it's Bath. Yeah, Scunthorpe and Bath. 2 National League teams who we actually beat last season. So, crossing those fingers that will be the case. But if you're excited to see how we do in this season, see how we get the season underway, please do leave a like on the video for me and subscribe so you never miss any of the lovely Football Manager content that's to come from this space right here. I've literally just started recording immediately after I finished recording the last episode, so nothing else has happened. But I thought I'd quickly show you the predictions of the season. The prediction is, they reckon we're going to finish mid-table. Now, all we need to do to please the board and the fans is to avoid relegation this season. The media seem to think we are going to finish in 15th out of 24. I'd take that. I'd absolutely take that. And I do think, looking at the quality of the players that we've got, we have got the ability to do that. Now, we have got some players on trial down here. Some of them do look very good indeed. We are going to be considering whether we sign a few of those. There's also some who are on the potentially coming in on loan, maybe. We haven't quite looked at some of them yet because I actually did make 1 or 2 inquiries and offers after the last episode, 5 minutes ago for me. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens in regards to that. But the squad, if you look at the overall ability, I mean, Jordan Winters definitely dropped down. I would quite like to move him on, but we've promised him we won't because we're a bit silly. But if you look at the actual squad, there is a decent amount of ability, and there's some potential here as well. So I think we could be a bit of a force to be reckoned with. Now, Elliot Andrew is in purely because we don't have another striker who's currently signed to the club. We do have Rob Street who's available. Probably not going to sign him. I don't think he'll work, but we are putting an offer for a striker or 2. But worst case scenario, Kadua could play up front for us. Speaking of which, time for the first game of the season. And this is going to be the 11 that we are going to be using to hopefully start off life in the National League with a smile. It is Berry in goal, Cisse, Wassell, Smith and Woodthorpe in defence, Page, Turner and Dowling in midfield with Kadua and Colson supporting Joe Iashiafano. Big Joe, whatever his name is, he's starting up front because we haven't got a new striker. We have changed the tactics slightly. It was a modified wing play last season. We've just completely rewrote everything, basically. They want us to play defensively solid counter-attacking football. I'm leaning into that a little bit, but I don't really want to hang my hat on the counter-attackingness, but we tend to counter anyway. I mean, we tend to be usually a bit of a gegenpressing team. We are going with a mid-block and a higher defensive line. I don't quite know how that how that combination is going to work. It might go well, it might not go well, but it's going to be interesting to see just how this team, with the new players, is going to go. I'm interested to see how the new defensive midfielder Jonathan Page is going to do. We do also have James Taylor, who is a very decent defensive midfielder. Can also do a job in attack as well. I'm interested to see how he does. Jack Wardham, we've got him on loan. I'm going to say his surname so many different ways, so he might just end up being Big Jack. He's a decent, solid defensive midfield option as well, but we'll just see how things go. So let's just get into the game, shall we? And let's see what happens. But first, squad numbers. Yay! For saddos like me who care about squad numbers, Tizard's got the number 4, Kadua's got number 11, 19 goes to Jonathan Page, James Taylor gets the number 24. Let's just get into the game, shall we? And let's see whether we can get those first 3 points of the season. This game is at home, so we do have home advantage, and we do have the new promotion bounce as well. And again, psychologically, we know that we can beat this lot because we beat them last season in the FA Trophy. I think it was the FA Trophy. Anyway, it could be the FA Trophy. It could be the FA Cup. I can't remember exactly what competition it was. We'll have a look afterwards. But hopefully, we can get things off with a good start here. We're only on positive. We did spend a lot of last season on attack, but we changed to that once we already started looking pretty decent. So I don't really want to go in all guns blazing in a new league on attack. I'd like to actually start us off early A little bit slowly. Let's just ease into things and let's see how we do. What I don't like is the fact that our first highlight appears to be a defensive highlight. But Dowling doing his best to try and win the ball off of Cresswell there. It didn't quite come off, but it's nice to see him putting the effort in. If we can defend this, that'd be lovely. Page heads it down to Woodthorpe. Good first look of him. I've actually not played any of the friendlies myself. I've left it all to my assistant manager. Usually, I never show you guys, but I will manage 1 or 2 of the last friendlies just before, so I can just get a vibe of how the team is playing. And we haven't done that this time, although Big Joe is in. And Big Joe scores our first National League goal against Scunthorpe. And it is 1-0 to Dartford. Happy days. I'm very happy with that. Very happy indeed. Obviously, it's early days. It's only 1-0. Dowling does really well. Chips it over, looking for Big Joe. And then he makes the interception here. Dowling started off really poorly last season. And then the second we made him the advanced playmaker on attack, all good things have come from it, and it makes me happy. 30th minute, 1-0. That'll do. It won't do. I'd like more, please. Please, sir, can I have some more? If I can, that'd be lovely. But, you know, if we win 1-0, that'll do as well. I don't actually know where Scunthorpe are meant to finish on the season preview. We'll have to have a look at that and see how these guys are compared to what we're expecting. Right. Chris Smith's not having a great game. We're going to sub him very early on for Will Tizard. I'm actually tempted to bring Kadura off as well because he's not had a good game in the slightest. But we'll give him another chance. It's again, some of these players are brand new to the team. We do need to bear that in mind. I mean, for example, Jack Turner's not playing brilliantly. Page is doing okay. Woodthorpe's doing okay. Cesar's doing okay. The keeper, Touchwood, so far has been okay. Even Colson's not had the best of games, so maybe they're just good against wingers. We have given away a free kick here, and I do get concerned whenever there's free kicks on FM because I just feel like they're going to go into the top corner anyway. I couldn't speak then. I was so nervous. But fortunately, Berry looked like he had it covered all day long. And we continue to lead. And we are having more and more chances. We are going to just demand a bit more from the boys. Because in the nicest possible way, I would like a second. It would make me feel a bit better. They are having a few chances, which is concerning me a little bit. And they are all from free kicks. So maybe, just maybe, we need to be a little bit careful about the free kicks that we're giving away. They are having more chances now. They are starting to edge a bit closer to us. But then we are having them as well, which is very, very nice. Makes me very happy. Right. Substitute o'clock. Both of our wingers are shocking, and Tizard has not had the best of times since coming on. So, what we're going to do is Mycareer is going to come on. I think we'll bring him on for Kadura, because Kadura's not had a great time. And what we're going to do is we're going to move Mycareer and Colson around. So, we're going to have them that way around. Mycareer, I mean, he's dropped down. He was still 3.5 star, but he's dropped down, I think, because the rest of the team has improved around him. We'll have them that way around. So, Colson could go out to the right-hand side. He does prefer to be a winger on that side, and Mycareer on this side, I think, can do a little bit of what I like to call false playmaking, because he's not technically a playmaker, but he kind of plays like a playmaker. If anyone has seen Ianis Hadji over on my Twitch save with Aston Villa, I always used to say he's a bit of a false playmaker. Don't play him as a playmaker, and he does playmaker things. I'm rambling because I'm trying to think of what to do for my last substitution. I kind of want to bring James Taylor on, but I don't know whether to bring him on as one of the two forward-thinking midfielders or as a defensive midfielder. To be honest, they're all doing okay. What I think I will do is I think I am going to take Jonathan Page off and we'll give James Taylor a chance. I kind of want to play him as a halfback just because I want to use a halfback ideally. He's got good passing though, and he's not actually that physical. So I'm actually thinking we don't do that, and instead we'll bring him on for Jack Turner and just have a bit more energy and bite in the midfield. He does prefer to attack though, and I would rather he didn't attack. I'd rather he be a sensible boy and stay where he is because he's got the stats to do so. Yeah, we're gonna do that. He's gonna play there, and he's gonna like it, quite frankly. Whether he likes it or not, he's gonna like it. Yeah, because that makes sense too. Right, let's see the game out, or let's add a second, because I would very much like to win our first game of the season. Tizard clears, uses his aerial ability. Unfortunately, we don't actually get it much further up the field until Scunthorpe get possession back. Eastham now looking for options. We nearly nicked the ball off of him, but we don't quite manage it. And Berry's going to get on the ball here for one of the few times we've actually seen him handle it. Let's see if we can build from the back here and get a second. Right, Cisse looking for options. Dwelling on the ball here a little bit, which is not ideal. Looks for Big Joe up front. That's why we need another striker. We don't hold the ball up particularly well when that happens. But we've done okay here so far. And Big Joe doesn't really go for the trying to beat the defence. He's got pace to probably give it a go, but he doesn't try and do it, which is a bit of a concern. And now they look to counter again. Big ball forward, and Wassell has made a bit of a mistake, and Bostock is there, and it is 1-1. and we're going to go attacking. The camera moved a little bit there, so I wonder whether it's going to be disallowed. It's not, and that is a shame. That is a shame, because we've looked really decent in this match, but in the second half, there's been a lot of highlights to Scunthorpe, and they have actually just come back into the game and overtaken us. It's almost like they flipped a switch, and they just decided, actually, we need to step things up here, and we've really kind of stunted towards the end of it. But you know what? A draw in the National League in our first game is not the end of the world. It really isn't. It could be a lot worse. It could be a lot worse. We're going to be positive. Again, we're expected to be mid-table. We're not expecting to get into the playoffs or the promotion places or anything like that. Let's be happy with a mid-table finish. Let's be very, very happy, and I will definitely take that. So what I will say is we do need to have a look at where they're predicted to finish on the season preview. Let's have a look. Scunthorpe predicted to finish 7th. They're a much better side than we are. We got lucky last season. When did we play them last season? What competition was it in? We definitely did play them. I think it was in the second half of the season. Scunthorpe beat them in the FA Trophy quarter-final. 2 goals from Pierre Fonkeu. Missed that, man. But do you know what? That'll do. Leaves us in 11th after the first round of games. Everyone's played a game now. That, if we finish the season like that, jobs are good, and I would take that. Right. We'll just play Bath next, shall we, and see what happens. Time for the game against Bath City in the National League, and this is going to be the 11 we're going to use to hopefully get our first 3 points of the season. Draw last time out. Wasn't the end of the world, but let's see whether we can actually get the business done today. It's Berry in goal, Bowman, Wassell, Tizard and Williams in defence, Page, Turner and Dowling in the midfield with Colson, Mingoya and Iachiafano up front. We have got at least 1 or 2 players looking like they might be on their way in. We've got a lone player who we're just holding off on at the moment just to have a look, but this guy down here I think could be exciting. I don't know how to say that first name, so I'm going to call him Aaron Antonsen. Antonsen, we looked at him earlier in the window. He didn't want to come to us. No one has picked him up since then. So we've put in an offer for him. He's decided to come to us on loan. On trial. And then we have put in a proper offer for him. He's got 421 caps for Iceland. He's allegedly a League One potential player. So if we can get him in, I'll be very happy. He's 6'6" as well, so that's always a bonus. Fingers crossed we'll get him over the line and get him into the club. We are going to start Tizard and Bowman both today. We're also going to start Vontae Williams. And our Page turning combination in the midfield is going to have another shout in there as well. Jonathan Page did start okay in the last game, but as the game went on, he kind of fell away a little bit. I am actually going to change it to a half-back. I just want to see whether he can do a job there. I feel like he can. I feel like he'll be a decent option. We do, of course, have Jack Wadham as well, who we could bring in if we wanted to, but we'll go with that for now. We'll see what happens, and fingers crossed we can get a lovely, lovely win. That'd be nice. Again, Bath are one of the 2 National League teams, at least 2 teams, that we did beat last season, so we are hoping that maybe we can get over the line in this game. I don't know whether we will, if I'm honest. I'd like to think we've got the opportunity to, but I don't know. What doesn't happen is we don't have any natural leaders in the side at the moment. Ethan Wassell is our captain, and while I think he's a very, very good player, he hasn't really got the stats to be a good captain. We have sent him on I think we sent him on a leadership course. I can't remember. I think we did just to try and get that kind of level up a little bit. Whether it will work or not, I don't know. Jonathan Page at the moment is having a storming game, which is exactly what I want to see from him as a halfback. We've had the better of the chances so far. They are having the more possession. I would quite like to see us actually do a little bit more on the front of the highlights. But to be fair, 2 draws in a row wouldn't be the end of the world. We are having the chances, but it does kind of look like we're struggling to get the ball in the back of the net, or at least get the ball on target. And at half-time, it is a boring 0-0. We'll say that one. We'll try and encourage them. It hasn't really worked. We'll just try and G everyone up, and we'll see what we can do. Apparently, we've upset Joey Iachiafano, which is a bit of a concern, because we've only got Elliot Andrew on the bench, who we're currently holding off sending out on loan because we don't have another striker. Right, performances haven't been particularly brilliant. What I am going to do is, in transition, I'm going to take regroup off, and we're just going to give ourselves a little bit more freedom just to see if we can do anything. I am also going to just double check. Right, I'm going to put him on shoot less often, because that means he'll be a little bit more fussy, Big Joe, with his opportunities, and we'll just see whether that will give us the chance that we need. Big corner in, Tizard clears, Dowling looks like he's going to get on the end of it, and he might lead a counter-attack here. We are getting some numbers forward. Mingoya gets it there into Big Joe. Big Joe back to Mingoya. Mingoya now is going to try and hold the ball up. Or is he going to go for a worldie? He's cut inside, he's gone for the worldie, and he's put it over the bar. Lovely opportunity. Nice little highlight. Didn't lead to a lot. Little bit disappointing. Almost as disappointing as Tizard. He hasn't been very good so far. Mingoya's having, actually, according to that, having an absolute shocker. Right, Dowling on the ball. On that left wing, whips in, looking for the header. Coulson can't find him. Page on the ball, goes for the shot, and their goalkeeper does make the save. We're playing all right here so far, but again, the big thing has been striker. We know we need a striker, not just for squad depth purposes, but also just because I don't think Big Joe is going to be good enough this season. We signed him last year because he was one of the best players in the league, but that was the league below us, and that doesn't necessarily mean it's going to transfer over to this league. So it would be quite not. Oh, it's an injury to Jack Turner. Well, that's not ideal. Right, Livermore's going to come on for his first appearance. And you know what? Mingoya is coming off. He's had an absolute shocker. We're going to bring Kadua on. And hopefully, Kadua can have a good performance for us today. We're just going to send him on and see what we can do. Hopefully, he can spark us into life a little bit. Coulson's going to go over to that left-hand side. And we just need a bit of magic from someone. We're going to go attacking, because we've been the better team here so far, and we are having the chances. So if we could just nick a goal towards the end, that would be fantastic. Tizard's had an absolute shocker, so I think, I can't remember who I've got on the bench. Hopefully we've got someone we can bring on. Chris Smith's going to have to come on. Not the change I wanted to make. Right. But it's clear what our issue is at the moment. It's our cutting edge. Because defensively, touch wood. Oh, you watch. We're going to concede now. Up until this moment, it's been a good performance. Berry gets the ball. And we might have a chance for a late goal here if we can get the ball forward quickly enough. We've got 5 minutes of added time. We're into the second minute of it. We're well into the second minute of it, in fact. Right, Kadua. Can he give us a bit of magic? I mean, he's going the wrong way at the moment, which is not ideal. Wassell looking to launch it forward to Dowling. Dowling can't flick it on. Noble heads it down, but Big Joe intercepts. Coulson now looking for options. He's waiting for someone to make a run. A run was made there, but he didn't see it. Right, Williams into Coulson, into Big Joe, and Big Joe has the chance. And we somehow have another one in the 94th minute. It's whipped in. Coulson's there. It's headed out. Dowling now, the playmaker, gets it to Wassell. If Ethan Wassell had scored an absolute worldie to win it then, I would have gone absolutely nuts. And the highlight keeps going. And I'm concerned because it is Bath with the ball. The keeper's taken an absolute age to take it. It looks like he's going to launch it up the pitch. We're going long ball for this one. It's launched up. Smith heads it down. Dowling to Wassell. Wassell looking for Big Joe. Big Joe holds off. Doesn't go for the tackle. Doesn't go to try and intercept the ball, which is a bit of a concern. Right, we head it forward. But again, it is kind of aimless. And they go again. And it's headed down. And now all of a sudden, Bath have an opportunity. It's whipped in. Chris Smith clears. Gets it to Dowling. Dowling to Coulson. Is Big Joe going to get a chance? He tries to head it down. It's just flicked onto the goalkeeper. We desperately need a better striker, because Big Joe is not going to translate into this league from the looks of things. He's really not. And we've had 2 chances at the end to win this game. We have been much the better team, which is good to see. It gives me hope going forward if we can get that striker that's going to give us the cutting edge. 2 draws in the league above us, to be honest, I don't think is a disaster. Couple of worrying performances from Tizard and Big Joe. Mingoya didn't have a good game either, but we were anticipating he might have outlived his usefulness. Puts us in 16th. It is 2 places lower than what we're currently predicted to finish by the media. But to be perfectly honest, 6 weeks, that's not ideal. To be completely honest, from the first 2 games, bearing in mind, season preview has Bath finishing... Oh, Bath are meant to finish bottom. Hang on, did Bath get promoted? I thought Bath were in National League last season. Am I making that up? Have I been bigging up Bath as being in the league last season? They weren't, you know. They must have been in National League North or South. Bath. Looking at the wrong one, aren't I? I completely skipped the fact that they were in our league last season. They were our nearest rivals. How did I get that mixed up? So, to be fair, a draw against Bath, that's not a bad result. That is not a bad result at all. How did we do against Bath last season? I feel like they might have actually beat us in one of the games. Bath. Beat them 3-0. And lost against them 2-1. So we were kind of even against them last season. So it's interesting. They were the first game we played last season, and then the second game we played this season. I'll take that, to be honest. 2 games, unbeaten, 1 clean sheet, and only 1 goal conceded. It's not the best result in the world, but it's one I will absolutely take. Right. When are we going to be back? I think we're going to play through, well, definitely going to play the Bromley game off camera. Then we'll probably go through September and come back somewhere in October. I'm looking at that FA Cup 4th round qualifying game. We'll probably have a look at that 4th qualifying round, and we'll see who we get, and we'll see whether we can get through. So maybe somewhere around there. Maybe we play them, and maybe we do Wrexham, the big boys owned by the superstar Hollywood people. Maybe we do that. That could be fun. That could be interesting. If I go on here long enough, do I find Ryan Reynolds' name? Will I find it? Can I find the staff? Chairperson Ryan Reynolds. There you go. I love that. I love the fact that Ryan Reynolds is actually in the game. Also, is that D. Terry Butcher? I do believe it is. Well, that's a bit unusual. I didn't know he was there. That's kind of interesting. Sod it. Wrexham it is. Wrexham and whoever we've got in the FA Cup 4th qualifying rounds will go with those games. And hopefully by then we'll have put some more points on the board, hopefully, in the way of wins and not just lots and lots of draws. Thank you very much for watching. If you've enjoyed today's video, please do leave a like on there for me. And do subscribe if you want to see any more Football Manager content from the channel going forward. I've been Stu, you guys have been awesome, and I will see you in the next video. Cheers.